morning, and good morning to the viewers. Thank you. Yeah, it's a wonderful day, and I think everybody's extremely excited and looking forward to good matches. I think the ladies are excited and anxious in a sense, you know.
So here we go then, compound bronze medal match, our first match of the day, a teasing little encounter between a dominant team in compound archery and a team who you see every so often in finals, but not so regularly as their opponents. This is the first of 5 medal chances for Denmark today, and South Africa's single appearance in the final, so can they make it count? That's the question we'll be asking, and that they'll be asking themselves, and we'll show you the Danish lineup just in a second as the archers in their red uniforms take their places. And we have Tanja Jensen, Erika Damsbo and Sarah Sonesson there with her arms in the air acknowledging the crowd. The number 2 ranked team in the world, ranked 4 this week with a top score of 232. And Seppi, here come the women from South Africa.
Yes, the ladies from South Africa this morning at breakfast, you could see they excited. They had to you know, get a good meal in at breakfast to get the energy levels up for today. But they shot really well leading up to this medal match, and they shot the highest score on the field in the first round in the team matches.
So here we have Gerda Roux.
That's Gerda Roux, Janine van Kradenberg, and Danelle Wenzel. They're not unfamiliar on the stage. They've that team you see there got an indoor medal as well at the World Indoor Championships
in Marrakesh in 2016.
That's correct.
And there's our line judge for this morning. So we're about to get underway. Just to give you a quick snapshot of the rules in the team event, a match is played over 4 ends, rather like sets in tennis. Each set has 6 arrows in it. Each archer shoots 2 arrows, so the maximum you can score with an arrow is 10. There's a maximum of 240 points available. Each team has 3 archers and they take it in turn to shoot. After each end, the scores are totaled up and the team with the lowest score shoots first. In the next end, at the end of 4 ends, the team with the highest total score wins. Simple, and shooting first will be your team from South Africa, Seppi. So is that an advantage here, or will they have wanted to see how the Danes go first?
I think there's no wind outside at the moment. You know, it's a little bit rainy. I don't think there's any disadvantage of shooting first. You could see there Danelle maybe a little bit nervous on that first shot. But there's no wind, so I think from the practice field to this field, I don't think there should be any difference.
And South Africa open up with a 9 in the gold. Solid start. Solid start,
yeah. I think if you can get the good shots off in the first round and just settle the nerves, it's definitely going to put pressure on the other teams. Gerda looks comfortable there. It's a nice team. 10-6. Doesn't seem like there's any difference from the practice field to this field.
It helps, doesn't it? The practice field's not too far away, so you can match the conditions a little, can't you?
Exactly. Looks like hoping for a 9 there.
It's an 8, but it may be upgraded to a 9. The way it goes in archery, of course, is if the archer's arrow is on the line, then the highest arrow value counts. So 27 to start with for South Africa, and Denmark open up with a 9, as their opponents did. And here's Erika Damsbo, second archer up for Denmark. Some of you may know her as Erika Ania, but recently married to Martin Damsbo in the Danish team, and a loose arrow by these standards in the red in the 7.
I see that the wind is picking up a little bit, and it can change so quickly, you know. It's you can definitely see there's a little bit more wind in the trees.
And Sorensen there with 10. So 26. So a 1 point lead at this very, very early stage for South Africa, but they'll be pleased with that, won't they?
Yeah, there's some on the board. I see the South Africans are running out of time a little bit, so they need to definitely pick up the pace a bit. That's a nice X from Danelle. It's a good shot. Seems like she's settled her nerves. So you can see 27 seconds for Gerda. So each archer has 20 seconds to fire the shot.
And a 9 for her.
You can see Gerda, I think, decided to make a quick shot to make sure that Janine's got time to take that shot. And you can see Janine's hair just blowing a little bit more, making, you know, 7, 6 seconds. It's a difficult shot. She pulls off a perfect X. She looks relieved.
She does, doesn't she? So 3 10s for the South Africans with their amongst their first 6 arrows. Good start for them. 56 points.
And then Jensen shoots a 10. Very good archers, these the Danish team. They also won a gold medal in Turkey this year.
That's right, Turkey was a very, very good weekend for the Danish team. Another 10 for Denmark, so it will come down to Sorensen to finish up for the Danes. 10 will level the scores. It's a 9 from her. So going first, paying off for the South Africans. They post 56, which means they have a 1 point lead over the number 4 ranked team in the competition today, Denmark. And some high fives there amongst the girls.
Yeah, I think they've settled in nicely. Confident with the 1 point lead, but there's still a lot of arrows left. Anything can happen. I believe, you know, if you stick to good execution and to shoot good shots, it will give you the good result. If the wind picks up, it's just going to make it more interesting. And who manages and reads the wind the best will probably end up, you know, winning the tournament.
There's a few things going on here, aren't there, that all that the archers have to cope with simultaneously. First of all, what's going on in their heads, also what's going on around them, and then the conditions where they are, not only on the shooting line but at the target face as well. It's quite a combination of things to master.
Yeah, the thing that what happens on a finals field is, you know, you are obviously nervous, and when you aim, your dot does not always sit still in the gold, and you all you can rely on is the training that you've done, and you must trust the system. So when you execute the good shot and it's in the 10, you know, you build on that confidence, and sometimes your focus shifts from focusing in the gold on your dot in your scope that's moving. And if you execute a bad shot, you sort of have to be mentally stronger to make sure you get your next shot's good, you know. And all the ladies can do is rely on making good shots.
So Denmark are behind only by 1, and so they will get us underway in this second end. And it's a 9 for Tanja Jensen with her first arrow.
So the South Africans scores 57, so that 8 was upgraded to a 9.
Yes,
Damsbo with a 10. Second 10 of the match so far, and here's Sorensen, the number 2 ranked archer in the world this year in the individual competition, looking very still and composed on the line, and lands that one right in the centre of the target. So if you just explain, you've got a 10 and then you've got an X. Tell us the difference.
Both count the same, so X counts as a 10 score. Usually in ranking rounds, the 10s and X's are just to sort of, if you shoot the same score, they see who shot the most X's and 10s, and that sort of decides who ranks where. And the X is very important for tiebreakers. So when you have a tiebreaker, every archer shoots one shot, and if the score's still tight, they see who's got the arrow closest to the X. Nice stance there for the South Africans.
9 o'clock. 9 o'clock.
Rue looks happy with that one, if not a little surprised.
Gerda's been shooting well in teams this week. She was one of the strong archers in the team. So it's like 3 10s for the South Africans.
It does, doesn't it? That last arrow from Van Gradenberg is on the line between 9 and 10, but
they're having good fun. You can see the ladies there are enjoying the moment. I must say I'm a little bit jealous that I'm not there.
I bet.
For the men's team, but it's great to be there, you know.
The crowd warming up a little bit as well. You can hear applause and a bit of noise despite the wet weather, so it's good that the atmosphere is picking up for these archers. They're shooting for medals, so it's great to have a crowd who are into it as well.
9.
Yeah, for sure. Stands are getting fuller,
Masser af tid.
even though it's raining a little bit.
So all in the gold so far for Denmark. Sarah Soninsen with the final arrow for her team of this end. And another gold it is, 9, so 57, probably going to be upgraded to 58 though, that first arrow right on the line between 9 and 10. So 30 so far, this end for South Africa. 22-year-old Danielle Wenzel gets her arrow away, and that's a 9.
Slightly left.
Bit of a challenge. You were saying about moving on earlier from an arrow that you didn't like, so that you can let that one go and shoot a better arrow next time. But when you've got to wait your turn, that's harder, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's well with the team event, they're rotating, and when you walk and get off the line, you have some time to think about, you know, process it and visualize the next shot and make a good shot, you know. Good concentration. Nice thing there for Janine.
So now it's a 3-point game for the South Africans. They lead by 3. That lead may be cut to 2 if that first arrow of the Danes is upgraded, which it probably will be. But at the halfway stage, a 2-point lead is a good place to be in, actually.
Well, it's nice to be there, but you can never get comfortable, you know. And a lot of these matches, you know, with 12 arrows still to go, it's anything can happen. And with the archers and the teams shooting, you know, on different, they obviously alternate. Sometimes an archer can be on the line, and there's a gust of wind that comes through, and it's going to be an advantage for the one and a disadvantage for the other team, you know. It's I guess if the God smiles on you on the day, it's your day, you know. But it seems like the wind's picking up a little bit. There's not really any rain.
No, it's just chilly, isn't it?
It's
really
just a little bit cold, yeah. And it was a perfect week this week. I mean, we had lovely weather in qualification, and it was fantastic.
It's one of those things that the World Archery Circuit do really well, is they put the archery in really dramatic situations, don't they?
Yeah.
And the qualifications field was on the same grass that the athletes ran on in the 1936 Berlin Olympics. So
yeah, it was actually you know, intimidating in a sense, and with all the history around you, it was beautiful. You know, World Archery does an excellent job, and the venues are fantastic. The finals fields are awesome, and you know, the World Cup finals in Rome is going to be spectacular.
It certainly is. The venue there, beautiful historic venue. This one's got some history too. The Lilly Hennock Sportsplatz here in Berlin, named after Lilly Hennock, the German track and field athlete who set 4 world records and won 10 German national championships in 4 different disciplines. World records in the discus twice, the shot put, and the 4 times 100 meters relay. She was an athlete before the Second World War, and this venue's been named after her. And so our score update. 113 points for Denmark, 116 points for South Africa. So it is a 3-point game, Seppi.
Yeah, 3 points is good. All the ladies can do is to make sure that they execute the good shots. You can see there at the top of the target, the red flag, moving a bit more.
So the tactics for the South African team working well at the moment. They've put Danielle Wenzel in as the first archer up in each end, and that'll be a tactic, won't that?
Yeah, every team has their own way of deciding who's shooting first. You know, usually the person that I guess can load and shoot quickly would shoot last.
Maybe an archer with a bit more experience too, not to feel the pressure of of the scoreboard ticking over.
Exactly, you know, and counting down 5, 4, 3, 2, and making that shot, even though the dot's not sitting still in the goal is tough.
9 for Tanya Jensen. Yeah.
I've seen the archers shooting a little bit to the left. I think they either compensating for the wind, maybe a little bit too much. Seems like the wind's coming from left to right, so maybe the wind does not have such a big effect on the arrows than what they might think.
Yep, 10 venstre.
10 for Erika Damsbo with the second arrow for Denmark, taking their total to 132, as you can see on the score there. 19 for this end. Sarah Sonnigsen here takes a and another 10 for her. Such a consistent shooter this season.
Oh yes, definitely. I mean, she in the middle in the elimination matches yesterday, she shot a perfect 150. She shot the highest score on the field yesterday, even beating the men.
10.
Well executed shot.
Yeah, a little smile to herself as well there. Only a few more arrows left in the match,
yes.
And you want to make everyone count, don't you?
Oh yes.
So here's Herda Roo. Vastly experienced South African archer, and a 9 for her. Little word with the coach as she walks back to her place, and that's important too, isn't it? The coach's role in that little box at the back there.
The input there, just sort of when the shot goes, sort of just making sure where it hit, because you have an idea when the shot was executed, where the dot was sitting, and just making sure whether the wind has any effect.
So the lead down to 2 now. 142 to 144, and another 9 for Denmark from Tanya Jensen.
The last 3 arrows were a little bit low. I mean, the 2 of the South Africans, and her arrow was a little bit low. I wonder why that would be, maybe.
Yep,
takes aim.
Strong shot. Masser af tid, et halvt
10
minut.
for her. That arrow moving up a little in the target, so maybe she has compensated. She can't hear you, Seppi, by the way, so, you know.
Yep, højt 10, kl. 12.
A 9, but I think that will probably be upgraded to a 10. The scoreboard's giving it a 10 in this case. 171 for Denmark. They're looking to pull themselves back now into this match. We passed the halfway point, and this is where it's really getting serious. And Danielle Wenzel taking aim there, the youngest of the South African archers. Lots of pressure on her shoulders, but she seems to be coping well so far.
Oh my word. She misfired that one.
I spoke too soon. And that's a miss,
Okay.
which you don't often see at this level at all.
No, I think it just got away from her, that
Not
one
over
shot.
you.
How crucial is that going to be? I wonder. Repair job now for
Yes,
Herda Roo,
9.
and she shoots a 9. And the temperature of that match can change so quickly, can't it?
Oh yes, you can see that lead that they had, just one bad arrow.
Kradenberg.
Yes, 10.
And a 10 for her, 163, but the pendulum swung massively back the other way towards Denmark
happened?
now, with 6 arrows to go for
Do you know what
each
happened?
team.
Was it on the wrist
A
from
mixture of smiles and a slightly rueful look for Danielle Wenzel.
Yes, I'm sure she doesn't feel good about that.
It's not over
You know, there's still 6 arrows to go. who knows what can happen, you know, and the pressure just mounts, and I'm sure the Danes see that the door's open, but
you still got to walk through it.
You still got to walk through it, yeah, exactly. And it's difficult sometimes when the shot, you know, I'm not sure what happened there with Fennell. I think maybe just wasn't on target when the shot was fired, maybe just was a little bit nervous, who knows, you know.
When you shoot your arrows with a compound bow, there's a piece of technology that you hold in your hand to release the arrow from the bow, isn't there?
Yes.
A clicker, and that may have had something to do with the slightly dodgy release that time.
Some archers use a hinge style release, like Erica there is using a button release. It's a thumb trigger, so it's you have to release it by, you know, putting pressure on the trigger, or by actually and deliberately putting pressure on the trigger. And you can see Donnell there with the thumb as well. And with the weather and with the wind, she decided to shoot the thumb today. And she usually shoots a hinge release. And you need to make a decision whether you want to shoot a hinge or a thumb. And sometimes with the wind, it's difficult to shoot a hinge.
So here we go, the final 6 arrows for each team. And it's 171 for Denmark, and playing catch up now. 163 points for South Africa, and Donnell Wenzel a miss with her last arrow. Can she make a quick recovery and get back in the gold? She needs to. It's an 8 for her. So the scores are tied now.
It's tied now with the South Africans having one scoring arrow.
Nine, a little bit low. A little bit low.
Through. You kind of feel that only 10s will do at this stage.
Definitely. The Danes, I don't think will hold back. They will make the most of it.
9.
The left-hand archer in the South African team. Tanya also shooting a thumb trigger.
Stacked.
10 for Tanya Jensen. 181 for Denmark.
Masser af tid, Erica.
So their shot clock ticks down past 90 seconds. Erica Damsbo, her shot is away.
8-9 liner.
8 could be upgraded to a 9, that one.
Yeah, 9.
Scores are tied again, but don't let that fool you. That miss in the last end from South Africa, crucial. Sarah Sonicson here.
Yep,
arrows away, and X10 for her.
You can see there's
10-point lead.
There's 2 lines on the field. It's a 1 meter line, so each archer must wait behind that line. So when it's their time, they move on the shooting line, and as you'll see, once Donnell has shot her arrow,
10.
she will move back, and once she's behind the line, the next archer can go on. So if both archers are within that area, shooting line area, the judge may give them a yellow card, so the archer needs to move back, put the arrow in the quiver and start again, and that takes time. And that can have a negative impact also on some of the,
calling it a 9.
well, the results obviously.
9 o'clock.
A 9 for Heather Roux with her final arrow of the match, and a nice 10 for Donnell Wenzel with her final arrow of the match too, so that will make her feel a little bit better about things.
Yes.
And South Africa finished with a 9 from Janine van Vaardenburg, so 217 points for them in this bronze medal match, and 3 more arrows for Denmark to come, starting with Tanya Jensen.
Yep.
X. And it's a 10.
Godt afslut, Tanya.
So another arrow in the
Masser
gold
af tid, Erica.
will seal the deal.
Yep, 10.
Nice run.
It is a gold from Erica Damsbo. 219 points now for Denmark. So a 3-1 for Sarah Sonicson.
Erica shot her first arrow 7, and after that she's been shooting a lot of 10s, so she picked it up. Winners.
And 9 for Sarah Sonicson, and our first medal of the day goes to Denmark, the dominant Danes have taken yet another medal during this World Cup season. It's the first of a possible 5 medals for Denmark today. Tanya Jensen and Sarah Sonicson will be looking to add more this afternoon when they go in the mixed team and individual events respectively. But for now, it's all red here in Berlin. Denmark take the bronze medal, and Seppi smiles all round, but the South African team will feel that they let that one slip away.
I think so. I mean, they obviously had the lead there, and Danelle used a hinge release on the last shot, you know, and I think by doing so she was maybe a little bit more nervous than what she thought she'd be, using a thumb release, and yeah, I think she'd be really disappointed with that miss. But obviously no one does it on purpose, you know. The ladies did really well to get this far, and they shot really well. And it would have been a close match, I think, if Danelle, you know, didn't get that miss. But Denmark would have been difficult to beat. You know, they are really one of the best teams in the world, and the 3 ladies in the Danish team is accomplished archers.
For sure. I mean, Denmark are one of the top 2 ranked teams in the world this year, with Colombia being the other, and Jensen and Sonicson both going to the World Cup finals as individual archers. So it went with the form book in the end, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they were at all the World Cups, and they shot really well, team and individually. And ultimately the goal is to make the World Cup finals.
So you'll see your girls back at the hotel later. What are you going to say to them?
I'm going to say tough luck, girls. It's always great to be on the stage. It's you know, you asked me what goes through one's head before you get onto the field of play, and a lot of people would think, don't mess this up. And I think Danelle's gonna be sad, but you know, she'll get over it.
She'll pick herself up.
She'll pick herself up, and the ladies will support her, and you can see they're not going to be upset. They support her.
So the compound women's team gold and silver medal match is next up. The bronze been decided, and the field of play is already being reset for the next match. And another really interesting one with 2 teams who haven't made it to finals day all that often in recent years. None of these archers are going to the finals in Rome in September, so they'll be making this last World Cup outing count. And first of all, it is the team from Great Britain of Hope Greenwood, Lucy Mason and Lucy O'Sullivan, ranked number 16 in the world. 9.45 event average for their arrows, and a 44% match win record overall. They qualified in 9th place for this week's competition, and their highest score is 229 points, so very, very respectable. And their opponents, as you can see, walking out onto the field of play, looking very serious, looking very focused. It is the women of the United States of America. 3 archers who have shot together before, but not that well known on the world stage. Cassidy Cox there, waving to the crowd. Paige Gore and Lexi Keller completing the lineup, and a very young team. Paige Gore at 22, Cassidy Cox at 19, and Lexi Keller in the middle at 21 there. So a young USA team, and pretty young too from the Great British point of view. Lucy Mason just 17. So this is one of those occasions, Seppi, where these archers less experienced on this stage, but shooting for the ultimate prize. So
definitely, if there's, you know, if there is a medal match you want to be in, it's the gold medal match. Obviously, everybody wants to be there, and it's you lose, but you still get a silver medal. You know? But you want to make the best of it, and then yeah, you rise to the occasion, and all these archers work hard to get there, and the ladies from Great Britain finished off with 3 X's in their semi-finals match, and they definitely had to make it happen there. You can see the rain is and the wind's picked up also, so this is going to be interesting.
Deteriorated significantly, and an 8 with the opening arrow of the USA,
good finish.
who are shooting first on target 2.
I think in these conditions it might be an advantage shooting second. As you can see, both arrows are on the right, so maybe if you know, if they can look at those arrows and think, well, maybe I must just aim off a little bit more.
Paige Gore here takes aim and does exactly that, and a 10 for her, so 26 with the first 3 arrows for the USA. And here's Lucy O'Sullivan, the more experienced of the 3 British archers.
So Lucy there's shooting a hinge style release. He does not have a trigger as such.
Great shot.
10 for her. Happy with that. Great opening for Britain.
Awesome shooting, Ozzy.
Little cheer from the crowd too. Here's Hope Greenwood. Taking a little while to compose herself, but worth it in the gold, a 9 for her.
Press that thumb into the 10, Mason, and keep pulling.
Here's the first arrow from Lucy Mason, just 17, and
left 9.
Walks away a little dissatisfied with that, but
Cass, here we go.
Great Britain 2 points up at this very, very early stage.
Drive that stabilizer, girl.
As Cassidy Cox strings her bow and takes aim.
Nice shot, girl. 10.
And she's on the line between 9 and 10, so that's
Solid
into
10.
the 10 for her.
9 o'clock on the line, okay? Aim off a little. Oh, Lex, good finish.
Can't really see the rain as much, well, on screen, but it is coming
9 and
down.
12, yep.
It
And
certainly is.
the from an archer's perspective, the strings might get wet, the arrows are going to get wet. There's water that can get on the scope that they're aiming with, so it's difficult conditions to shoot in, and it seems like it's working. The ladies are shooting well.
10 with that final arrow in the X, so 55 points for Cassidy Cox, Paige Gore, and Lexi Keller of the USA.
Attack that 10, O'Sullivan.
Here's Lucy O'Sullivan again. A 10 with her first arrow.
Great 10.
A 9
Maybe
with
9.
second.
Little bit left. Let's go, Hope.
Lucy just gave a little bit of advice, maybe, where she needs to aim.
Greenwood
Just under the 10.
9 as well, lower in the targets.
One umbrella, lady? Yes.
So 9 will level the scores. A 10 will give Great Britain an early 1-point lead. Can it be a 10 for Lucy Mason?
Good shot.
Let's see.
Wow. All 3 arrows are so
Slightly
close.
left.
Yeah. So the scoreboard giving us 55 points
That's a
each
10.
for
That's
the
12.
2 teams.
Yeah.
As they wait in the rain. That's a factor, isn't it? There are lots of sports played in the rain, certainly, but not too many where you've got to stand still for quite such amount of time. That it gets in your clothes, gets down your neck, gets in your hair.
Definitely, you can see Lexi there cleaning the lens, just making sure. It is distracting, you know, a water drop on the lens as you aim, it just distracts you, you know. So you need to keep focus. You need to, you know, you have to concentrate a little bit more. Not sure what the wind is going to, what the wind and rain is going to do to your arrows, for instance. And usually, if things get wet and the lights lower, you know, darker and stuff, people tend to shoot a little bit lower. So you have to factor, you know, the conditions in, and that's why you need to talk to each other also. If you shoot a shot and you execute it in the X and it's low, you need to tell your teammates, listen, aim a little bit higher. It feels like, you know, the rain is having an effect.
So just reminding you, in the team event, each match is played over 4 ends. Each set has 6 arrows in it. Each archer shoots 2 arrows. The maximum you can score with an arrow is 10, as you've seen, so there's a maximum of 240 points available at the end of the 4 ends. The team with the highest score wins. Simple. And it will be the USA to get us back underway in this second end. A bronze or a silver medal at stake here in the rain here in Berlin.
Nice, nice.
And a 10 for Cassidy Cox with her first arrow. So absolutely 2 10s for her in the match. Now, and here's Lexi Keller. Arrows
just
away.
Out, just out.
That's at
96, yes, just out.
Lexi seems a little bit surprised with that one. That's low.
The rain's really coming down now here in Berlin.
Go, girl.
But that hasn't affected Paige Gore at all. Fist bumps all round. A 10 for her. An excellent shot in these conditions. 84 now for the USA.
Attack at 10, Lucy.
Here's Lucy O'Sullivan drawing on all of her years of experience as a GB archer. A 9 for her.
With the rain, it's the release aid becomes a little bit more slippery, so you need to make sure you grip it properly.
Great 10-0.
Nice shot there.
So a 9 and a 10 with the first
10,
arrows at
Lucy.
this
Keep
end.
pulling.
And
Keep that arm up
here
when
is
it breaks.
Lucy Mason again, taking aim for
Good
Great
shot.
Britain, and another 9, so 83. So USA edging into lead just by a point as Cassidy Cox comes back to the shooting line. 52 seconds left on the shot clock for the USA.
Nice. Just out.
You could see when that shot was fired, the water that came off the string.
You can see more Q-tips.
So and when the water comes off the string after the shot, it just sort of blows onto the scope, you know.
Nice, caught it, 10.
The ladies are shooting well in these conditions, I must say.
They are. Another 9 for the USA.
It's a 10 though.
A tremendous challenge shooting at a target. You don't actually get the appreciation of it so much on the TV, just how far away the target is from the shooting line. It's 50 meters.
9.
Yeah.
9.
50 meters, 55 yards.
Attack at 10, O'Sullivan.
Hers is a 10 though.
Be aggressive.
112 points now for the USA.
Let's go, Ozzy.
And that X-ring is only 4 centimeters.
Yes, 10, X.
For Lucy.
Lucy O'Sullivan finds it 4 centimeters, the target that she's just hit there, 50 meters away. The rain in her face, the wind blowing at her back, the pressure on her shoulders. Plenty to contend with here, and here's Hope Greenwood.
Back, Hope. Doesn't matter, finish the shot.
You just see before that shot was fired, it seemed like there was a gust of wind that just sort of unsettled the bow a bit, and when you're under time, you can see 6 seconds left. She knew she had to make that shot.
Another loose one from Great Britain. Perhaps the clock affecting them there, taking a long time to find.
Definitely. There's and that's the thing, you know. She knew she had to make that shot to make sure that her teammate
the rain dragging
get
them
the
down
third arrow fired in time. And if you shoot out of time, you know, you lose that scoring arrow. It's a 0.
So 109 for Great Britain and 112 for the USA. So 3 points the lead at this halfway stage. Simply not insurmountable for Great Britain, but comfortable from the USA's point of view.
Yeah, it's well, we saw what happened with South Africa. It's so quickly how things can change. It's and like I said, it's I think the team that reads the conditions the best might end up winning the match. You need to, with the wind and with the rain, I tend to change my sequence a little bit, making sure that I fire the shot maybe a little bit quicker, be a little bit more aggressive. That's a nice shot there with all the wind, and you can see the water that's coming off. And with difficult weather conditions, you can't really hold the bow as steady and aim as good as you want to be. So you need to be aggressive, and you need to execute good and strong shots like you see there. You know, the ladies are shooting well. You can see the water coming off all the equipment there.
Yeah, beautiful shot that.
Oh, that's, yeah.
Nice to see the spirits in the crowd, not dampened. We're safe and dry in one of those tents at the back there that you can see, which is good, although we're a little bit away from the action. We'd like to be right down there on the field with those archers, I'm sure you would.
Yeah, definitely want to be there.
Great
Lucy O'Sullivan, serious face, and a 10 for her. And 9s and 10s essential for Great Britain at this stage, as they're trailing the USA. Here's Hope Greenwood. Orange bow held out in front of her, and an X10 for her.
Great comeback.
28 points now for Great Britain. Can Lucy Mason match
Keep pulling
this?
and keep the arm off when it breaks.
Another 10 will definitely put pressure on the USA.
Yet to shoot a 10 in
Brilliant
this match.
10.
She's done it this time. 3 10s for Great Britain.
Perfect score.
Applause from the crowd. Exactly what they needed
Great
to do.
shooting, girls.
Yeah, that's definitely going to give them
That's
confidence.
the stuff.
You always feel with the archers from the United States, though, that they have a determination, a faith almost, that they can come through.
Oh yes, they know they are extremely capable archers every single time. The men's team, the ladies' team, and they know they are forced to be reckoned with. That's for sure.
A 9 and a 10, their first 2 arrows of this third end, 131 points for them. So a 9 will give them a 1-point lead, a 10 a 2-point lead.
Boom, baby. Boom.
You can see she wants to make sure of that shot.
9.
9. For
There's clock
Paige
still
Gore.
going, sir.
Go Aussie.
You want to make sure you
Attack
execute
the
good
10.
shots, and she took
Attack
time there
that
to
10.
make
We
sure
lost
that
5.
she fires the shot that she wants.
We lost 5
It's a
seconds.
balance though, isn't it? Lucy O'Sullivan took a little while with her shot, as she has done again, taking a little bit of time to string her bow, and
Attack
that
the
means
10,
that
O'Sullivan.
puts a little bit
Be
more pressure
aggressive.
on your teammates
I will
later on,
ask
doesn't
him.
it?
Yeah, I think Lucy
Great
walking
10.
back there
Brilliant
with 40
10.
seconds on the line, which is
Can you get
20
it in
seconds per
53?
archer still
Let's
left.
go.
Are you good in 53
So
or not?
Lucy well
Come
in
on,
that
Labe.
time.
Can you do it in 53?
So
Cassidy?
I think
Roll it.
the time for the Great Britain
Page
team will
usually done by
be
10
good in
now.
this.
4 straight 10s for
Yes,
them so far this end.
Great
Another
X
one
on
away,
the
and
dot.
another 10 as
Come
well.
on.
An X for Hope Greenwood. 148 now for Great Britain. Lucy O'Sullivan's
Press that
arms
thumb into the
crossed
10 and
there
keep the arm up
on
when it
the
breaks.
left-hand
Keep
side
pulling.
of the shot, willing this arrow to go
Yes, that's
in
great
the gold,
shot.
and a 9 for Lucy Mason.
1 click. Down.
Terrific 6 arrows for Great Britain.
Yeah, with 3 seconds on the clock.
That's 12. They're awesome. 2 spiders. Oh, by the way.
So USA need to shoot a
Nice
27.
shot, girl. Great shot.
Next 3 arrows. Good start though. A 10 for Cassidy Cox.
I'm really impressed. The ladies are
Good,
shooting
Lex.
really well.
Shoot your shot.
It's a feature of archery, isn't it, Seppi, that the men and the women are capable of these top scores
Nine right.
equally.
You're okay.
Oh yes, definitely.
9.
Like I said, Sarah Sonningsen in her individual match shot a perfect 150 yesterday.
9.
Too fast.
9 for Paige Gore with her final arrow. So the lead cut down now to 1. USA 168, Great Britain 167. This is really anybody's match now.
Definitely 6 arrows to go. Anything is
That was not good. We lost 5 seconds.
We saw the Great Britain team shooting a 59 just now. Their confidence is up, and they just closed the gap a little bit.
So I'm going to ask you a really tough question now. Who's going to take this match, do you think? Who's looking at the archers? You know this sport inside out. So you've seen them all shoot their arrows so far. Who's looking the strong?
Hey, Sullivan!
You know,
Look at Labe!
from what I've seen in previous matches, and if I go on probability, you know, what usually happens, a team that leads is usually a team that sort of defends instead of really attack. You can see the Great Britain team enjoying themselves, and they know they need to shoot, you know, 10s to win. They need to attack, and from previous team events, what I've seen is, and I don't really want to say who's going to win or not, but in situations like this,
Attack the 10, O'Sullivan.
I think the leaders need to make sure that they keep the pressure.
Attack that
pressure
10,
on.
O'Sullivan.
And I think because the leaders always shoot last, it just gives them a little bit more pressure on the shoulders, knowing what they need to shoot. So Lucy definitely making sure that she keeps the pressure on, you know.
A huge cheer from the crowd for a 10 for Great Britain. As Seppi said, keeping the pressure on. That's all they can do. All you can do is shoot the arrows that are in your bow. You can't worry about anybody else.
Definitely. And once that shot's fired, it's gone. You need to focus on the next one.
9 for Greenwood with
Press
that
your thumb
last
into
arrow.
the 10, Lucy, and keep pulling.
Here is Mason, the
Press that thumb into the
17-year-old.
10 and keep pulling.
Stock still in the wind and the
Keep
rain
pulling.
here in Berlin.
Great shot.
And
Low 9, through the
9
side.
for her, 28 points.
I must say, I'm sitting and I'm nervous for the ladies.
Home Cass.
Here's Cassidy Cox. Very solid throughout the whole match. That arrow a little low on the line between 8 and 9. Yeah, the scoreboard gives it an 8, but we'll see whether that's clipped the line between 8 and 9 and gets upgraded. Could make all the difference in a match like this, actually.
There it is. Good shot.
With
Oh, Paige. Need a leader.
first shot of this final end for Paige Gore. Her arrows away, and that's a 9.
Still going again.
So the scores are tied, 195 points. But that arrow of Cassidy Cox
Come on, Sullivan, you can do this.
looking
Attack
like it may
that
be upgraded. So
Let the lead, girls. We're good.
still a 1-point lead essentially for the USA. It's Lucy O'Sullivan with her final arrow of this competition.
That's okay,
It's away,
let's
and
go.
it's an 8. Pulled that arrow a little bit, she'll be unhappy.
You could see when the shot was fired, she wasn't happy with that.
Greenwood with a 10 makes up for it.
Come on, Mason.
So there's 12, 11 seconds left.
Come on,
Putting a
Mason.
little bit of pressure.
Push your thumb into the 10.
And Lucy
Keep
there to
pulling.
make that shot.
Keep the arm up. 10. Perfect.
And a 10. What a
about
super shot. What an absolutely super
He
shot.
looks relieved.
The British coach there, John Knott.
Ready yourself for a shoot.
A little
boys.
sigh of relief. 223 points.
Home Cass.
A little bit under par for the Brits.
Boom, baby. Boom,
in the
baby.
competition so far this week.
Nice shot.
And a 10.
Oh,
with
Lex.
the first
Nice finish.
arrow of this penultimate
All
3 for
confidence,
the
girl.
USA. Here's Keller.
Boom, baby.
Steps
Boom,
back from the
baby.
shooting line and another
Good
10.
shot. How'd that feel? Pretty awesome.
So 215
page,
points.
finish it
So the USA
Finish with an X.
in command here. Final arrow of the match
Boom,
to
baby.
take it. They need a 9 to win, and it is a 10. And the USA, and our first gold medal of the day, goes to the women from the United States of America. They've defeated Great Britain. They were ahead for most of the match, and it'll be their anthem we hear first today when the medal ceremonies get underway. And what a day it could be for Team USA. The men shoot for gold in the team event shortly. They've got chances in the mixed team and the men's individual events this afternoon. But for now, it's all about this team. Paige Gore, Cassidy Cox, and Lexi Keller take gold in the rain here in Berlin. Seppi, and they closed it out.
They did. I mean, three tens to finish it. Really happy for the ladies. I'm impressed with the shooting and shooting the score they did with the conditions.
You guys remember? Well done.
Yeah, well done, USA.
Well, you didn't want any
There was
cold
pressure
water?
on them, wasn't there?
Let's go
Because
get
it
some
wasn't a
hot
foregone conclusion, as
I don't think I shoot
it
arrows.
was almost in our first match that we saw this morning. It was very, very tight. We said, didn't we, with the last end, it was anybody's match. And GB just didn't quite have enough, did they? There was a couple of arrows, an 8 from Lucy O'Sullivan there, that if that had been in the goal, we would have been, the pressure would have been higher.
A little bit more. I mean, if you look at the USA, they knew they had to keep the pressure, and they knew they had to basically get 3 arrows in the gold, which in these conditions and in those circumstances are not easy. You know, under 20 seconds to fire a shot seems like a lot, and it is enough time, but if you're not on target, if you are nervous and the shot doesn't want to sit still in the middle, it's difficult to shoot. You know, it's the ladies shot really well. I think Great Britain would be happy with the silver medal. I'd say that if you told them that before the event that if you want the silver medal, we'll give it to you. You don't have to shoot. They'll say we'll take it. You know, they did exceptionally well. They shot well leading up to this, and I think they shot well now. They definitely fought back, and it's a pity about the arrow of Lucy. Just got away from her, but she shot well. You know, in her previous arrows.
Yeah, she did a lot of heavy lifting earlier in the match to haul Great Britain back. They were 4 down at the start, and an amazing effort from the women this morning. And now we get into the compound men's team side of things. You can see the routes to the final that these teams have taken. Will be with India and the home team of Germany next in the match that's coming up. You can see there how the teams made it through to this bronze medal match. And the judge stands on the line awaiting the two teams. The rather natty archery umbrellas for the two coaches at the back of the shooting line there, with the target face designs on the umbrellas themselves. But here we go then, the compound bronze medal match, not as it says there on the screen, recurve. It's compound men's team bronze now, and the match that many in the crowd have been waiting for. Two teams who are aiming for bronze, and one of them has home advantage, so can they make it count? None of these guys are going to Rome, so the match, like we've just seen, these archers will be completely focused on the arrows that they're about to shoot. And it will be the team from India who we introduce to you first.
India's been a team medal match before this year, so they're familiar with these conditions. Abhishek Verma, definitely one of the more experienced guys in the team there for India.
There we go, Aman Saini, Abhijit Singh, and as you say, Abhishek Verma, the more experienced of the three archers that you can see there. He's on the right-hand side of the screen. He's 28 and has an individual world ranking of 23, the highest ranked archer actually on the field of play.
He is the home favourites.
Absolutely. The only German representation in the finals of the weekend. Bit of disappointment for the individual archers actually from Germany this week, but this team have got something that they can show. Henrik Hornung there waving to the crowd, as does Marcus Labe. and Marcel Trachel, ranked number 22 in the world, and qualified in 11th place for this competition. And they have the higher match score of the two teams in this competition here that we see. So they shot 234, that was their highest, and India 231. So the home team, maybe, can they do it? That's the question we're asking.
It's a new day. They shot well in the team matches when it mattered. I think with the crowd here giving them support, they might just pull it off.
There's pressure too, though, isn't there? I mean, I've been watching the athletics in London on the TV, and I was lucky enough to go to the stadium, and actually the Great British Athletics team underperformed a little bit. The home advantage maybe was just home pressure, actually.
Yeah, maybe. I think I think the Germans, the German team will shoot well, but the Indians never make it easy. You know, they like I said, they've been in this situation before, and it seems like Abhishek will shoot first for India. And what's nice, you know, for a guy like Verma to shoot first is, you know, once he's, in my opinion, one of the better archers in the team, and if he shoots at 10, it sort of just gets the spirit up for the rest of the team, you know, to follow that 10.
Sure, he was involved in 2 medal matches in Antalya in the team and the mixed team, where India did so well, and he opens up with a 10 for the Indian team, shooting on target number 1. Still raining here, not really Indian conditions, you would say.
No, I see Verma just giving some advice there where he needs to aim.
Singh with an X, so he's Saini lining up his first shot. It's away, and it's an 8, so 28 points to begin for the Indian team in their pink uniforms, as the Germans get underway here with Marcel Trachel first up. 9 hitting the gold for the Germans. Both these teams with an eye on a bronze medal, of course. And here is Marcus Labe, probably the most experienced of the German trio. And a 10 for him to open up.
It seems like the Indian team shot slightly to the right on the target, and the same for this team. It seems like, you know, from the practice field to here. Well, there goes my theory. That's a little bit on the left-hand side, but yeah.
Sometimes one target has a slight advantage over the other, doesn't it? In competitions, you often see target 1 or target 2 being where the victories are, but actually it's been evenly spread this morning. We've had a victory on target 1 and on target 2 this morning, so nothing to compare there.
No advantage on a specific target. It's pretty protected for both targets for both teams.
So another 10 for Verma with his arrow, and
9.
This is Singh. He scores a 9.
4 o'clock. So 14 seconds.
So, Saini.
You could see Verma finishing, shooting the last shot.
That's right, so they played with the order, the Indians, haven't they? Which is another common tactic. We haven't seen it so far this morning, it caught me out there, but where teams reverse and the last shooter becomes the first.
Yeah, so maybe their strategy would be for Verma to lead the way and you know, shoot a good shot, setting the way for the team, and then obviously with his experience under the pressure to make the shot, because he's a World Cup final medalist. He's got a lot of experience, definitely one of the strong archers on the field.
Same.
So 2 10s for the Germans. The crowd very happy with that.
Gut, Markus.
Maybe home advantage will tell here as Trashel takes aim. Taking a while here.
9
He finds the 9 with only 3 seconds left on the shot clock. So 57 points for Germany and 57 for India. Completely level after the first end. And that umbrella not really looking big enough.
No, that's not big enough, but it's only for a couple of minutes, I'm sure.
So we just going back to the order the archers are shooting in there. That both teams used that tactic, didn't they? So their strongest archer going out first, and then having the opportunity to put the final arrow in the target as well.
Yeah, I think every team has a theory and a strategy. For us, we put our guy that can handle the pressure and that can shoot fast last, and some guys are just comfortable shooting in the middle or shooting first.
So the Indians qualified in 5th place for the competition this week. The Germans in 11th, and the Indians outscoring the Germans pretty much in the 1-8 round. They defeated Spain 228-222. In the quarters, they got past Sweden by 231-229, and then lost out to the USA by 5 points in the end, 228-233. Whereas the Germans beat Russia in the 1-8 round, needed a shoot-off to get past France in the quarterfinals, and then lost by 3 to the very, very strong Danish men in the semis to book their place in this bronze medal match. And now we're back with the action on the field of play, and Abhishek Verma, his first arrow of this second set is away, and it is a 10 for him. So here's Amanjeet Singh. As someone who also wears glasses, I feel for him in this wet weather. The cap's protecting the lenses a little bit, but when you wear spectacles, the rain is not much fun.
It's not in your favour, definitely not, no.
4 o'clock ही है 10 line पे ठीक है उधर ध्यान रखो
The Indians shooting 2 10s, a little bit low in the 10 ring.
10
Is Aman Saini, and a very low shot there from him, a 7. And those are the kinds of shots, Seppi, that have decided these matches actually so far this morning. A loose shot from your girls this morning, and a loose shot from Great Britain in the last match.
Oh, yes. In this case, you know, the match has only started. I don't think the gents from Germany would want to give anything back. I think they'd be happy to see, you know, to see the 8s or the red numbers, and you can never relax. You can't just go for gold. You need to go for the 10. You know, golds aren't always enough. And 3 9s is similar to, you know, 2 10s and a 7.
So here's Horn Hung. A good look at him, and a 10. So 10, 9, 10 for Germany. Takes them to 86. They've opened up a 2-point gap.
There they're putting him first.
9
So staying with that order, Saini with a 9.
अंदर
If you look at the target face, it seems like he's been shooting low from the start. All the arrows they've shot were on the lower side.
ग्रिप की वैसे हो रहा होगा पक्का 9 उतनी 4 o'clock 4 o'clock
Amanjeet Singh. And here's the team leader, you would say, Abhishek Verma. Lots of pressure on his shoulders as the most experienced archer in the Indian team, but he looks like a very cool customer, doesn't he? And
Definitely,
10.
he's always composed
9.
and relaxed. He makes it look so easy.
9.
It does, doesn't it?
9.
As top sportsmen
Bilkul
always do,
nine.
no matter the sport, wherever you are, tennis, golf, cricket,
Yeah.
everybody look, the class athletes always look like they've got more time than everybody else.
Oh
Pass,
yes,
pass,
oh yes, they make it look so easy, and yet everybody's nervous. Even Roger Federer said he was nervous at the Wimbledon competition. You wouldn't think it, you know, with all the experience. You could see the gents from Germany are very focused and determined.
9 and a 10 for Germany. So an opportunity now for them to extend and build a lead. Hornhung,
4 o'clock.
black bow,
Yeah.
yellow strings, and a 10. So 115 points for Germany at the halfway stage, 111 for India. They trailed by 4, a 4-point lead at the halfway stage for the Germans on home soil here in Berlin. Exactly what they wanted.
That's exactly what they want. 4 points halfway through the round. Definitely a comfortable position to be in. You can never relax. You gotta keep focusing, and you gotta, you know, just attack, and you gotta concentrate in making good shots.
When you're comparing archery to other top world sports, I sometimes think bizarrely of golf, because you spend such a long time in the competition. It's over tennis too. It's a matter of days. You've got lots of matches. Qualification round is pretty gnarly at points, isn't it? You've just got to stand there and you've got to shoot a lot of arrows, and there's hours and hours and hours of the competition to get you through.
Yeah, I mean, obviously preparation for tournaments like these are hours that you spend on the practice field, and in qualification round you get time to settle in a little bit and to fix some of the, let's say, mistakes that you want to fix, or just on form issues you want to work on. In elimination matches you just do not have that time, or that you just got to work through it, and you've got to make it happen, and that's why you fall back on the preparation you do.
Confidence se pura.
Some of the other Indian
11
team
o'clock
archers there in the crowd supporting their guys on the shooting line, who'll step up first again, because they trail in this match, and as he has done for the Indian team, Abhishek Verma leading off.
So for the viewers, you can see Abhishek on the corner of his mouth. We call it a
10.
kisser button. It's just
Yes,
a good
4
reference
o'clock.
point for when he anchors at the back. And then we have a peep sight that he needs to look through. It's that black piece that's in the string, and then you line that up with the scope and your
10.
dot on the goal.
Up
And
10
then
gandhi bilkul center.
you execute the shot, and you hope everything goes well. You can see him closing his peep sight. The peeps are usually quite small, sometimes, you know, millimeter in size, and once a raindrop gets in there, it just sort of confuses the sight picture completely.
Even with all that pressure and all the rain,
Come on,
3
come on,
10s for India, doing everything they can to hang in to this match. 141 now for them, as Traschel for Germany opens up. And he lands a 10 as well. A fist bump for him with his teammates and with the coach too, for good measure. The Germans not willing to let their lead go. And here's Marcus Labe.
You can see the concentration in his eyes.
Concentration, determination, looking pretty fierce.
Yeah,
Khatam hondi.
it seems like he's setting his sight. His previous shot was also a little bit on the low side. Henrik shot 2 X's in the previous end.
9 for him.
The Indians shot a 30, and the guys from Germany 28.
So the lead down to 2 now. And they've changed the order again here a little bit.
9
Amarjeet Singh
down.
with a 9.
Down.
So here's
Up ही रखेगा अगर.
Saini.
10.
Raindrops glistening on
10.
his Buffon hairdo. That's a 10 for him.
Down a 10 line पे
60 now
Abhishek,
for
रोक के पूरा.
India.
15 seconds.
And Verma will look to take this up to 170 with another 10 if he can. Oh, and it slid off to the left-hand side. I think it's on the line, though, between the 8 and the 9. So we're looking at 169 possibly for India. A good score at this stage. But they were behind Germany. 10-9-9 in their last 3 arrows. And a miss. And a 10 for Marcel Traschel. Labe with another 10.
Good shots.
163 for Germany, and here's Henrik Hornung to complete this end. 9 for them, 172, so 4 points the lead still. They maintained that lead to the end. That was an odd end, wasn't it? A couple of loose shots here and there, a couple of uncertainties, but actually everything in the goal for Germany exactly what they wanted to do.
Yeah, Germany needs to make sure they keep it in the 10. A few 9s from Germany and a few 10s from India is definitely going to close the gap. I think Germany would be happy with a 4-point lead. I think it might only be 3 points. I think that one arrow from Abhishek Verma is actually a 9.
It's been upgraded there. You can see 169 for the Indian team. Abhishek Verma, who's 28 years old and the highest ranked archer in this match at 23 in the world. Ahmad Saini, his teammate, he's 20 and 63 in the world, and Amanjeet Singh is 23, ranked down at 159 in the world. The Germans, Henrik Hornung, 26 years old, ranked 164. Marcel Traschel, 22, ranked 85, the highest in the German 3. And Markus Labe, the oldest of the trio, 35 years of age, and he's 108 in the world at the moment this year, although has been higher. An X from Markus Labe took them through via a shoot-off in the quarter-final against France, and they're in a commanding position here with 4 points on India as we go down into the final end, and as they have been pretty much all match. On target number 1, leading off, it is the Indian team. It goes a bit quiet here in the stadium as the German spectators perhaps holding their breath, Seppi.
Definitely, I think so. Abhishek Verma leading the pack. There's a 3-point difference between India and Germany. What can Verma do?
9. 11 o'clock.
A 9 for Abhishek Verma. You're never unhappy with a 9, but in match play, when you're trailing 4, you'll want a 10.
You're not going to win with 9s.
Nine down. Down.
Sing with a 9.
And 10. Down 10.
Saini. He's been steadily improving throughout the whole match. Actually, he's settled, hasn't he? And he's shooting some good arrows now.
You could see that on the ends, India shot a 54 in their second end, but the other ends were similar to Germany. First end's 57, and India actually 58 in the previous round versus Germany's 57.
So it's just that loose 7, the third arrow of the second end, which is proving the difference, isn't it?
Oh yes, and that's the difference one arrow can make.
Markus Labe, very serious focused, and 9 for him. The arrow's in the top quarter there of the gold ring, and his Hornung. And it is another 9 for Germany, so their lead is 2 points, and there's 3 arrows to go for each team. 3 arrows, each team separating them from bronze medal or just pride. What will it be for the Indian team? Here's Singh with the 9.
9.
So in this case, it's a 3-point difference.
10. 10 X. Yes.
Saini with a 10. His final arrow of the match. A good way to finish for him.
Finding his groove, yeah.
Verma now. The last Indian arrow.
9.
It's away, and it's a 9, so they finish on 225. So a 26 set of 3 arrows will do it for a draw for Germany, but they want the win, and here's Trushell focused on the target, and in the 10, 50 metres away. Great shot from him, his final shot of the match, and whatever happens, he will have done his country proud, but they've got their eyes and maybe one hand on the bronze medal. Here's Labe with a 9, and 8 to win for the Germans. Can he get it in the 8? It's a 9. Lovely shot to finish up. What a story. Such disappointment for the German archers in the individual competition this week. Some close matches where they didn't quite come through, but as a team, they've done it. And they turn to the crowd and they take the applause and they feel the adulation and the relief. Bronze in their own backyard in Berlin. Brilliant stuff, sir.
Yeah, the German team shot well. They were composed very well. From a shooting perspective, they executed good shots. Their form looked good, and if the process you do on the line and with the bow in hand, it will give you a good result. So well done to Germany. You can see they are happy, and I think, and I'm sure, relieved.
That's a great story, isn't it?
Home crowd.
It's
yeah?
the first time that Berlin's hosted a World Cup circuit event, and Germany's got a lot of good archers, particularly actually in the women's competition. Archers who are really firing this season, and we were hoping for more from them this weekend, but the German compound men's team have done their country proud. Bronze medal.
Definitely. I mean, Germany had a Olympic medal. They have Christina as was #1 in the world champion. The guys are clinical and precise, you know, German precision.
And German relief too. Victory signs for the 3 of them there. Congratulations to the Germans. We hope you're enjoying the action here from Berlin this morning. Stage 4 of the Hyundai Archery World Cup 2017. We'd love you to join the conversation here this weekend. Wherever you're watching, send us a tweet and we'll say hi. Just follow @WorldArchery on Twitter and use the hashtag WCBerlin if you would like to get involved. And now the final match of the morning session, and we await the coaches and the judge for the gold and silver match in the compound men's team section.
So here's two teams that's very familiar shooting in gold medal matches, Denmark and USA. They've been in this situation many times. It's number 1 in the world, number 2 in the world, the two teams.
And this is a repeat of the gold and silver match we had in Antalya in Turkey, which Denmark won, which I was lucky enough to watch here from the commentary position. So a rematch here in the compound gold medal match, and a second appearance for two countries who are dominating men's compound archery this year, as they have for many years, of walking out onto the field of play. It is the team from the USA, ranked number 1 in the competition this week with a top score of 233 in match play. And as they compose themselves and talk to their coaches and make the final preparations, they walk to the shooting line in these chilly and wet conditions. We'll introduce the USA archers to you. And on the line there, Braden Gellington waving to the crowd. And there's Christopher Schaff in the middle, newer of 3 to this, and one hand in his pocket, very nonchalant big cat Steve Anderson on the end there. Where we'll see Anderson and Gellington shoot against each other for bronze this afternoon in the individual event, but this week it's all about, or this match is all about them pulling together.
Yeah, 3 very strong archers there, well, from both teams. A lot of experience that's standing on that line.
Absolutely. And Stefan Hansen there waving to the crowd, individual World Cup and world champion. Martin Damsbo, very decorated archer in his day. And Andreas Darren, this team are very, very settled, the Danes, aren't they? Won gold in Antalya together in stage 2. Where they defeated the USA team, who took silver in this match. So very finely balanced. Denmark 234, their top scorer in match play in this competition. So just 1 point ahead in terms of the USA. So it's going to be really close.
It's going to be close. You know, we haven't seen a 230 yet this morning. I believe we're going to see it from these guys.
So here we go then, the final match of the morning session, which we hope you've enjoyed here on the Olympic Channel and World Archery TV. And it will be Steve Anderson to open up for the USA. Shooting first on target number 1. Yep. And opens up with a 9, but probably a 10 from this distance and from our point of view on the line.
That looks like a 10, yes. I believe that's a 10.
So here's Christopher Schaff. A 9 for him, the lesser known of the 3 US archers in this team. Kind of odd to see the US team without Rio Wild in it, actually.
Yeah, Rio's got tremendous experience, but it's tough to make the US team. 3 highest ranked archers shoot team event, and
he went out relatively early in the individual eliminations this week, didn't he?
Yeah,
so Schaff taking his place.
Yeah, Schaff ranked higher, and Rio just, only my personal opinion, maybe a little bit of bad luck. Lost with a score of 148, which is a good score, against Ivan from Croatia, who shot a 149.
Yeah, and it's that difference between form and class, isn't it? Lacking a little bit of form this week, but certainly not lacking class. Rio Wild,
no.
one of the gentlemen and the grandees of world archery.
Definitely, and he's consistent, and like I said, maybe just a little bit of bad luck with losing with the 148, but that's the way it goes. That's the sport. You can see both teams. Martin there maybe making an adjustment on his side. Both teams a little bit on the right hand side, so there might be a difference, like I said, from the practice field to the finals field.
But nothing to separate the two teams. 10 for Steve Anderson, so 2 10s for him in the match so far.
This week I in qualification I shot with Christopher, and nice guy, you know, knows what to do, and he just puts it down there. Qualified really well, shot well, as you can see there. That's the spider. You can't get a better X than that.
As you say, the strength in depth in the US team, absolutely remarkable. Archery, a huge sport in the USA. And 3 huge arrows from the USA, 3 10s, 3 X's, 59 points for that end. You can't ask for much more to open up a match, can you?
No, their sights are dialed in. Stefan just not happy with that shot, but it's still in the tin. You could see when he fired that shot, it was like he was talking to the arrow to just get up there.
He's quite a remarkable character, Hansen, isn't he? Only young, 22, I think, world champion on home turf in Copenhagen 2 years ago. And really, really consistent.
In the elimination matches yesterday, I mean, he shot a 150, 149, 150. He's a machine. He's at this point in time on form, and the best archer in the world at this stage.
10 for Martin Damsbo, carrying an odd sort of pressure for him this weekend, because he's seen his missus get a bronze medal already today. So, you know, it's an odd kind of weekend, a mini break in Berlin where you come away with medals.
I mean, Martin Damsbo is one of the most seasoned archer on the World Cup stage. I mean, he's got more than 40 caps. I don't even know how many medals he's won, and also team event medals and so on. And usually he's standing behind the ladies' team when they're not in a medal match, giving some good advice from his experience. And yesterday I spoke with Hansen, and nice guy to share information and give a few tips and pointers and so on, and which not a lot of people are willing to do. They see you as a competitor, and if you get better, you might beat them. But all those guys on the line are
kind of impressive having this many fans here in the range.
Are willing to share, you know, and that's nice.
I think when you stand in such close proximity to each other as competitors on the line, as you would do in golf or any other sport, the camaraderie is there, the rivalry is there, but one thing that's definitely there is the respect.
Oh, definitely. If you don't have respect for one of your opponents, he might just teach you the respect, you know. You must. You can have it next time. You get a lesson.
Yep, high T.
10.
So a 10 for Denmark on target number 2.
C.
Yep, X'er, stærkt arm.
And another
Noch eine 10. 10.
10. And here is Damsbo. Will it be another 10 for the Danish team?
Yep.
Oh, and it is 3 10s. Perfect start to this second end.
The Danes are not going to make it easy for USA. Steve Anderson with a long draw length, using a hinge style release.
Just out at 9 o'clock.
That's a 9 from Steven.
9 for him.
Whoops, I just bumped
Might shake his head a little bit at that one, knowing that the margins of victory and defeat in this match are going to be so tight. Christopher Schaff here. His arrows away, another 9 as well. So
look right there, you got it.
You can see that Denmark are pressing home their advantage after those 3 10s. And here's Braden Gellentin, another archer who carries such a lot of experience with him into competitions now.
Yep, full shaft in at 8
Arrows away, and that is a 10.
You know, Braden's always also consistent in team matches. Every time when I watch him shoot, he's always in shooting well in team matches.
Yep, that's an X.
It's a perfect X there for Hansen.
We talk about consistency. 9.78 is Gellentin's arrow average, and his match win percentage is 70%. So you can see he's one of those archers. We were talking about it before we started, actually.
Yeah.
If you can win more than you lose, if you can get over that 2/3 barrier, you'll definitely want to watch.
Yeah, Braden is an extremely accomplished archer, and in elimination matches, depending on who you come up against, you know, you like Rio lost with a 148. Peter Elzinger lost with a perfect score of 150, and on a one arrow shoot off, they both shot X's, and it was 2 millimeters that decided that match.
Absolutely. If you can believe it, the margin of error is so tiny. A 10 there for Steve Anderson. Denmark finishing up there.
No, I got you there too.
Second end at 118. So USA chasing that total down with Christopher Schaff here.
Yep.
And a 10 for him.
Nice strong shot, Braden.
So Gellentin.
No, that's what
a 10 will keep.
Have to go back after.
Will cut the lead to
like
a point. His arrows away, and
now I'm gonna have to zoom
that's
in.
on the line, I think.
That's too close to call.
Yeah, I won't call that. So the scoreboard is giving Denmark a 2-point lead, 116 to 118 for them. But the judges now will go to the target faces 50 metres away, and they'll be looking very closely at that final arrow from Braden Gellentin just to see whether it was on the line between 9 and 10 and can be upgraded or not.
Oh yes, you can see the judge had his magnifying glass there, just making sure what the arrow count is. The arrow should just touch the line to get the highest score, the highest scoring area.
So we'll tell you how these teams made it to this match in the qualification rounds. The USA shot themselves into the #1 ranking position. They beat Switzerland in the first round, 231 to 225. In the quarterfinals, they beat Mexico 233 to 226, and in the semis, they took down India 233 to 228. So 233 their top score in the competition. The Danes qualified just behind them in second place, beat Australia in the first round. Italy in the quarters, 231 to 228. And in the semis, they defeated the home team of Germany, 228 to 225, and they've got a slightly higher score than the USA, 234 in that match in the first round against Australia, their top score this week. So they've got a 1-point advantage here over the USA, who open up with Steve Anderson first, and a nice bold 10 for him to get things underway for the USA. Christopher Schaff here now, shooting as he has been all match in the middle of the trio, and in the middle of the target for him, another 10. Gellentin, and 3 10s for the USA. That's what they will have been hoping for, Seppi, and that's what the Americans are so good at, isn't it? They've got they go behind even a little bit, and then they raise the game another level.
The Americans are extremely strong. The pace is good. I'm expecting a 230 plus score from these teams. Seasoned archers, 2 really strong teams. I mean, before this end, 1 point difference between the teams. 2 tenths there for the Danes, with Martin coming up. If he shoots a 10, there's still a 1 point lead.
His arrows away. It's a 9, so scores are level. USA's perfect 30 with their first 3 arrows, applying the necessary pressure and leveling the scores up now. So is this a chance to build now for the USA? Here's Steve Anderson, who shoots later for bronze in the individual competition, and an X10 for him.
So Steve and Braden qualified for the World Cup finals. And Stefan Hansen also. So there's a few World Cup finalists. And Andreas Durham as well.
That's
so
right. Yeah.
4 of these archers on the line are going to the World Cup final.
So that tells you everything you need to know about why these teams are ranked 1 and 2 in the world, actually.
Yep.
These 6 archers are amongst the best. A little rueful expression on Gellentin's face. He lands that one in the 9, right up there in the north. And
he just knew when that shot went off, it was high.
So this might be the Danes' opportunity. They can shoot perfect 10s. Hansen with another one there. So 2 more and they're back in the lead. It's Darren and it's a 9. So Damsbo needs a 10 here to keep Denmark level. Quiet, focused, almost serene on the shooting line, and a 10 for him. Pressure shooting from Martin Damsbo, but he's equal to it, and it's 175 points each. Both teams, exactly as we said, simply nothing to choose between the two. Very close.
175 and 6 arrows to go. You can just see that last shot from Martin. It's when that shot was fired, he just threw his bow to the right. It always blows my mind how that arrow still gets in the 10.
Is there a way even through the shot? It's such a quick operation from the moment you let go of the arrow, but actually I've seen the really experienced archers do it. Anderson does it, Gellentin does it. Just even the slightest movement of a hairline reaction, just move that arrow just enough to get it in the goal. That's what the good archers do, isn't it?
Well, Martin just, Martin, you know, moved his bow after the shot, but that arrow is long gone. You know, it just. But obviously, he thought that arrow would have been in a different spot when it was executed. But yeah, you know that arrow travels at 280 odd feet per second, and you just want to make sure your line is good. You know, your hands moving back. You can see that Braden's hand moving back. You could see it's moving.
Isn't it?
In line with the arrows and side of your face.
So here we go then, the USA. Anderson with a 10. Here's Schaff. His arrows away. That's a 9.
Both arrows a little bit on the low side.
Using a lot of time to find himself, and a high 9 again for him. Which he looks cross about, shakes his head slightly.
At this point in time for these guys, a 9 is just opening the door.
Yep, excellent.
That's why X10 for Hansen smashes that arrow right into the center of the target. And here's Andreas Darum.
Yep, midt i højre arm.
10 from here as well. Exactly as you said.
Masser af tid, Damsbo.
Said the 9s and the 10s are the differences, aren't they? Here's Damsbo with the 9.
Just out. You know, a 9 that's just out to 10 is the same as the one that's on the 8-9 line. It still counts the same. It's it just sort of, your confidence is just a little bit better if it's a little bit closer to the 10, but you obviously want higher scoring zone. Steve finished off with a 10 there. Shot well in the team. in this match.
He has, hasn't he? He's only 1-9 in the whole match. Actually, everything else has been in the 10. So
Yes.
that's another 10 for Christopher Schaff. The target face is actually cutting up a little bit in the rain, aren't they? And after a match of this duration, you can see how battered the target faces are. Final arrow for Gallatin, and the USA doing everything they can with 3 maximums. So 233, their top score of the competition so far. They've done all they can. Here's Hansen with a 10. So 2 more 10s, and the Danish team have got
Here's where the pressure is. You know a 9 will be a 1 arrow, and then he needs to shoot a 10 to win. But Andreas shooting well this week. I'm sure he's going to put it in the 10.
10 for Andreas Darum, qualified for the individual event in Rome. Lots of confidence flowing through the Danish team. And here's Martin Damsbo, the final arrow of the competition. But a 10 to win. Oh, and it's a 9. So it's 233 points for each of USA and Denmark. Rueful look on the face of Martin Damsbo there, because we are down to a shoot-off, and this is where it gets even more exciting and even tighter.
It is difficult. I think Martin obviously not happy with that shot, and he knew he had to put that one in the 10 to win. I think sigh of relief for the USA team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you would put your house on Martin Damsbo to land a 10 there. He'd been so consistent with the 10s all the way through the match, and just something happened there to him, which means that the USA are back in it. They were dead and buried with that last arrow.
Oh yes. Yeah, I think Martin at this point in time in this week, and he's not entirely happy with his shooting at the moment. So, you know, he's a seasoned archer. He's extremely capable, and yeah, that 1 arrow, you know, that 1 arrow.
So we're into a tie-break situation. So it'll be 3 arrows for each team, 1 arrow for each archer. The target faces are replaced, and will be the highest score amongst those 3 arrows that takes the match. And if the scores are still tied, then they'll measure the distances from the centre. But which is perfectly possible in a situation where you've got 6 archers of this kind of class on the field.
Oh yes.
The focus now, I mean, take us into their minds a little bit. Certainly, what are you trying to do? What's the most important thing to do?
I think what's important for the Danish team is to forget about that 9, not to be, you know, negative in forcing a shoot off. They need to regain their focus, and obviously there you've got the hope, and you're holding your thumbs that you don't have to go to shoot off and that you win the match. But I think Martin has already forgotten about that arrow. You know, he's gonna stand there and knows it's this arrow that counts. The Americans are definitely not gonna step back. I know they're ready for this, and we saw in the first into 3 X's on that right side, right-hand target. So these guys are extremely accurate. This is an exciting shoot-off.
Absolutely. They've seen the women take gold in the team event. So can the USA make it gold for the men? Here's Steve Anderson. 1 arrow for him.
X, good shot.
Little expression on his face of dissatisfaction, but it is a 10 still, not in the X ring.
Yeah, you're right on the top.
But a 10 to start with. We flip to Denmark, and Hansen with a 10, a little lower down in the target, similar distance from the centre. And the pendulum swings back towards the USA. And here's Christopher Schaff. Shot brilliantly in this match, very calm and composed. 9
Let's
for
go
him
down.
on the line, though.
Masser
The
tid at
scoreboard
down.
saying a 10, so we'll go with that. So here's Andreas Darum, all in black on the shooting line, deadly
Yep,
serious,
mid.
and another 10. So absolutely
But I think it's in, but
dialed in, both teams. And here's Gallantin, the USA's final arrow. It's away, and it's in the centre of the target, possibly on the line of the X.
That's the closest so far on the X.
3 10s for the USA. It must be a 10 for Damsbo this time. It must be.
Yep.
And it is 3 10s. And the shoot-off decides the match. And it is the USA who take the gold match. Victory for them. Stage 4 of the Hyundai Archery World Cup goes to Braden Gallantin, Steve Hansen, and the newcomer Christopher Schaff. In the end, they had too much for the Danes. They took gold against them in Antalya. The Danish team took gold in Antalya, but it's payback for America in this match here in the rain in Berlin.
So how's that for class? 233, going to a shoot-off, shooting a 30. Perfect round.
It's fantastic, isn't it? And you just saw on the monitors there just how close those arrows were, just kissing the edge of the 10 ring in their different ways, but it is the USA who are closer, and that final arrow from Gallantin was the one, wasn't it?
That was Steel Sealer, yeah.
Absolutely fantastic stuff.
this guy's gonna get one.
The crowd that's been growing steadily throughout the morning, braving the elements, and their reward actually
Thank you.
a really, really dramatic match. And the bows are raised in the air by the USA team. Braden Gallantin, Christopher Schaff, and Steve Anderson. They take the gold medal. And so it's a really, really triumphant morning for the USA archery team. The women take gold in the women's team match, and the men have got gold here too. Sebi, tell me what you've enjoyed most out of those 4 matches.
Obviously the finals, the last match was really exciting. Highest score of the day, nice shoot-off, and it's nice to see both teams shooting well and battling it out till the end, and not really giving anyone an opportunity. And yeah, I actually feel for the Danish team. You know, they shot 3 solid 10s. Probably out of the 2 teams, the average was a little bit better. But Braden just putting it in the X there, that was the deciding factor. So, you know, the USA men's team the whole week's been shooting 1 arrow matches against each other for ice cream, and Braden shot a couple of X's. So it seems like that training sort of paid off, and yeah, I really enjoyed that. And I feel for the South African ladies team that you know, with that one bad shot from Danelle. Bad luck, but yeah, we saw some good matches today.
Absolutely. I think the South Africa women's match this morning, tough to come out first actually in very trying conditions to come out and shoot cold, because even on the qualification field you get practice arrows, don't you, before you shoot your matches, and on the target that you're going to be shooting at. It's very different here when you get onto the finals field, that the first arrow that you put in the target is an arrow that counts.
You know, in matches like this, in my opinion, the first few arrows, you always saw the group moved a little bit. So everybody made small adjustments to their sights to just get it to the center of the target. and it is difficult. I mean, my advice to the ladies team was, well, the coach basically was to say, if they shoot second, is to have a look at what the team, where the arrows are of the team that's shooting first. And we saw in the South African ladies team, they were leading. They were in a good, comfortable lead. And I think that pressure in trying to just keep that lead. And with Donnell making a conscious decision to shoot a thumb and a button, and I think maybe it just sort of she's not shooting that release that much, and maybe not quite working in her favor, and it's extremely difficult standing on that line. You know, these guys are making it look easy, but it's difficult. You're standing on a line where you've got a lot of adrenaline that's going through you, and you want to keep the bow steady, and it's the weather's not working in your favor. Your nerves aren't working in your favor. So sometimes it works out, and sometimes it doesn't.
So here we are, the medal ceremonies, and this is the women's team event, and the medals around the neck of the bronze medalists from Denmark. Sarah Soningsson getting her medal there, putting her cap back on her head. Tanja Jensen in the middle, and Erika Damsberg there on the end. And each team member getting a gift from World Archery Executive Board member George Bromkamp. Medals being presented this morning by Aladdin Gabbard, who's the World Archery Executive Board member and World Archery Africa President. And now we get down to the silver medalists, and a fantastic performance earlier from Great Britain here. A cheer from the crowd as they step up onto the podium and wave. The rain slackened off for the medal ceremony. Hope Greenwood there getting her silver medal. And Lucy Mason in the middle, smile on her face. And Lucy O'Sullivan, a handshake. Lucy O'Sullivan. And a medal round her neck. A grand week's work for the Great British women's team. Qualifying and then the knockout matches, and finishing up this Saturday morning here in Berlin with a silver medal. Few words exchanged between the British team and George Bromkamp, as now we wait for the team from the United States of America to take that big step up onto the top of the podium. Here they go, hand in hand, arms aloft, taking the applause of the crowd as they richly deserve for a great performance against Great Britain. Saw them take the match. There's Cassidy Cox with a nice chunky gold medal around her ring. Paige Gore laughing and smiling, and Lexi Keller. 3 USA archers taking a gold medal at this final stage of the 2017 Hyundai Archery World Cup here in Berlin. And maybe this USA women's team a little bit different to the makeup that we've seen before, Seppi. Perhaps now they've got gold medals, they might take this matchup into the new season, perhaps, these three.
Yeah, you see the ladies team of the USA, you see them a lot at the World Cups, and it's nice to get a team together where they get to know each other a little bit better, and some good vibes in the team. And yeah, I believe it's nice to carry it forward to the World Championship.
So here we go, here's the anthem. congratulations to the USA, Cassidy Cox, Paige Gore and Lexi Keller, who have taken the gold medal here. What's it like when you get a medal around your neck, the medal ceremony? That must be amazing.
Yeah, it's a good feeling. All the hard work that you've put in and all the training that you've done, you know, it makes it worthwhile. It's difficult to get on that podium, that's for sure. I mean, this week on the individual side, it's so many good archers that's on the line, and so many archers, you know, losing a match with a really high and good score. Getting on that podium is sometimes seems an impossible task. So some archers are fortunate to be on that podium more often than others. And today we'll see Stefan Hansen, who's a familiar face on the podium. You know, he won the World Games not too long ago, 2 weeks ago, shot brilliantly, and today he's shooting in the final. So I wonder if it's ever not nice even for them to stand on the podium. You know, they still enjoy it. They know it's a blessing to be there. You know, it's a great feeling, and it's nice to take something back home to friends and family to show them, and they're happy with you. It's great.
Because you're a long time on the road as well in archery, aren't you? And a long time away from home, and a long time away from family. Do you pick up the phone straight away and tell your family what you've done, or do you hope they've been watching online or something like that?
They've always been watching. So even, you know, when the match is finished, if I look at my phone, there's a message that was sent. So they always watch and support. They're great in doing that, and always appreciate that, even if it's in a different time zone. You know, if we're in America or if we're in Shanghai, you can always see the messages coming through.
So here we go then, the compound men's team medal ceremony. Hans-Heinrich von Schloeffels, the German Shooting Sport and Archery Federation president, will present the medals, and the gifts will be presented by Gerhard Fournier, who is a German Shooting Sport and Archery Federation president as well. They'll take extra pleasure, I'm sure, in awarding the bronze medal here, Seppi. A great effort from the German team in the end.
You can hear the home crowd and applauding the German team. I think they managed their match well, they shot well, and very happy for them.
It's a lovely sound, isn't it? Henrik Hornung, arms aloft as the crowd give him a cheer. Here's Marcus Labe getting his medal and waving to the crowd too. They'll feel like winners actually, won't they, out here? You know, they've made it through to the finals. And
when you get a bronze medal, you've actually won your match. You know, and being coming in fourth place is standing on the podium or not. It sounds silly what I'm saying, but fourth position is sort of, no one will see photos of the fourth place archers, and you've won a bronze medal. And when you get not taking anything away to the silver medalist, but you've in a sense lost a gold medal. But the match we've seen today between the Danes and the USA, they both should actually be getting gold medals.